Mic check 1 2, test 1 2. Good morning. All right, get a couple people on here first off, and we'll do a mic sound audio test again. If you're watching this as the replay, you have about 10-12 minutes. You can fast forward 10-12 minutes to the show start of the program and go from there. Mic test 1 2, check 1 2. Don't need that. Get that. All right, hopefully we got everybody lined out here for today. Nobody answering my messages, so that's always great. Hey, we got a couple people on there. Let's do a mic test here. Check 1 2. Mic test 1 2. How is the audio? Mike, send me a comment or text and let me know here, please. 850. Do this and this. Do this and this. See if Corey's ready. 2 1. All right, mic test. Anybody? I see there's 4 people on there. If anybody wants to give me audio feedback here, that'd be great. Appreciate it. Let me know if it sounds all right here, if everything's coming through crystal clear. Thanks, Darren. Appreciate it. Good enough. Strong audio. Chuck, good morning, Chuck. Hope everything's well down in that pier area. I have Corey Johnston from Lane LLC in the second half of the program, and Marshall Johnson. He's going to be talking some stuff with the Mule Deer Foundation in connection with the North Dakota Petroleum Council in the first half about some old fence removal projects. Morning, Karen. Hope everything is well in the mighty Mobridge. Home of the Teddy Bear Prison. All right. I'm going to get my first person on here. We'll be ready to go here shortly. Marshall Scott Bachmeyer. Fair to partly cloudy. Looks like some rain coming in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, I'm okay with the rain. It's we're still green in August in the Badlands. It's pretty damn rare. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Pretty nice here. I'm going to switch you over. The radio stations won't be able to hear us, but we are live on YouTube. So just a fair warning, we'll be on YouTube live. So stand by. I'm going to switch you over. All right. You got me there, Marshall?
I got you.
All right. I'm going to level you out here a little bit, make sure everything's all good to go.
Okay.
So, yeah. Too bad you didn't come out to the ranch here. We could have had you on YouTube live in person, not just the audio side of things here.
You know what? I have a face for radio.
I tried this new thing called shaving. I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, some
I'm one of those. I wait and I wait, and then I better do it now.
Well, you got some people, they can grow, when they start turning gray, they have this nice, they got like a nice little stripe, or it comes in one area. Mine looks like a checkerboard all over the damn place. So I said, to heck with this until I go fully gray. I'm going to maybe shave for a while here. We'll see how it happens.
Well, I got that goatee going there, and it's just a big old gray tennis ball.
Yeah, but yours looks
big old
good.
Gray tennis ball.
Mine had a patch right in the lower corner, and it was like, what the hell is that thing? Oh well, what do you do?
Oh,
the joys of getting older, man. You gotta love that.
Oh, tell me about it, man. I was out fishing here in Minnesota last weekend.
It's called
off my boat.
It's pronounced Minnesota.
Minnesota, got there, and slipped on my boat. I was unloading it. We were unloading it into a lake that didn't have a landing. It's a private lake. A friend of mine invited us over there, so we were unloading it off the bank, and so I had to get in the water and was guiding that boat back. And my friend, he was in the truck. He had to keep his foot on the brakes because it would slide, and so I had to jump in the boat, and I had to put the motor down, and I was going to jump back out to unhook it, and I stepped on the side of the boat and went, whoop, there I went, and I came down, scraped my leg up, and I hit my ribs right on the edge of the boat.
Nice.
And so I'm walking around probably 3-4 bruised ribs, maybe a cracked rib right now. It's been pretty rough sleeping.
Got to get one of those beds that lift you up in different positions. Sleeping angled position.
Yeah. And it's amazing when you compensate what parts of your body being this old start to fail.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the hip is sore now. Everything's sore. So, I ain't getting old. God dang it.
Yeah. Well, the nice part about it is we're so wise. We have so many wise things that we can talk about. Life lessons.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't you move back to the Bisman area?
I did. Right now, it's about 2 years ago today almost.
All right. So did you get your goat tag? Or did you put in?
I did not. I forgot to put in.
Okay.
I was traveling in Minnesota when I forgot to I forgot to do it. And I was like, oh, darn it.
See, that's
the first time I've missed a antelope tag.
That Minnesota will get you every time.
Oh, yeah. I started chapters over there.
Oh, you did?
So I got 4 chapters in Minnesota now.
So you got North. How about South Dakota? You in South Dakota too or not?
I have South Dakota now too.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so I took them over.
We're on 2 South Dakota stations today too.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, we got
great.
Bismarck.
Yeah, I'm about ready to start my
Millbridge,
6th one down there.
Okay.
Good. We got a brand new chapter in Pierre.
Good. So you can hit that too, because we are on Pierre. KGFX.
That's outstanding. We got our Missouri Breaks Muleys over there. That's the name of the chapter.
Okay. Yeah. Dakota territory, baby.
Oh yeah, there.
That's too far east.
What's that?
When you're starting to talk like a Norwegian, that's too far east. You got to have that German brogue.
Oh, yeah. We did a podcast here recently, and they called it the Dakota Boys, and it was me and another MDF employee that's originally from South Dakota, and we were Orly Olsen, Sven Svensson.
There you go.
And our cousin Lars Larson, he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Because he was out. Yeah, he was out ice fishing and he fell through the ice again.
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 Did you hear about those Ole and Lars when they went up to Canada moose hunting? In Canada, you got to hire one of those bush pilots take you in.
Oh yeah.
So the bush pilot says, "I just want you guys to know, I can take you in, but I only have enough capacity to take one moose out. So as soon as you get one on the ground, you guys got to call me."
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, a couple moose get up, they both shoot one. Call the bush pilot. Bush pilot shows up and he's like, "I told you guys I can take one at a time." They're like, you can do it. So they talk the bush pilot into doing it. Bush pilot gets on the back end of the lake and he starts taking off and he's using the whole lake. He finally gets lifted off. He sees a couple of rim rocks and he lifts up over the top of that and boom, smashes right into the mountain behind it.
Oh,
about an hour later, they all three wake up and they're looking around, looking at everything. And the pilot looks up and he says, "What the hell happened?" He said, Ole looks and says, "Well, looks like we made it 50 yards further than last year." There's more to it, but I can't be as vulgar as I want to be on YouTube here. So.
Exactly. I can about imagine, though.
Yeah.
So this YouTube thing, when did you start doing this?
When we started going on with Mobridge and Piers taking part this Saturday show.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know you had that much technology way out there in the Southwest.
Tell you what,
corner,
I'm running 1 gig internet out here at the ranch right now. I got
a big satellite dish.
No, it's all fiber optic here. Our broadband company here in the Southwest, man, Consolidated, is freaking phenomenal. So we got 60 seconds before we start the show.
Okay.
A break at 15 and a break at, and then we finish at 30. And of course, we have they're hard breaks with the radio station. So if I cut you off, you'll know what's going on there. Don't take offense to it. So
yeah. Oh, no offense taken there.
Yeah. All right, so 30 seconds. I'm going to go quiet here, and we'll when you hear the music, we'll be ready to rock. Okay.
You got it.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, the only outdoor radio show in the Dakota Territory where you can call in and take part of what we're talking and discussing for the day. You're listening on the trifecta of radio stations, KFYR in Bismarck, KOLY, Mobridge, and KGFX in Pierre. Good to have you folks along with us. Also covering the Missouri River Valley, 6 states, 2 Canadian provinces, because that's how we roll here. I also see some folks here on, you're watching on YouTube Live. Subscribe to my channel, Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio. If you miss any of the Saturday shows, you can always watch them back at a later date right there on the tube. Good enough. Toll-free number to call in, 888-9-DAKOTA. That's 888-932-5682. That's 888-9-DAKOTA. You'll automatically get placed on hold. I'll get to your call as soon as I can. I'm my own producer here, so I sit back on the front porch overlooking Bullion Butte here on another beautiful day in the Badlands. Good to be here. I'll be on the road today. If you want to catch me, come to Baker, Montana. I'll be the auctioneer for one of the most premier 4-H livestock sales you'll ever see in the upper Midwest. These kids spend a lot of time and energy getting those animals show ready, and I am excited to be part and have the opportunity to be their auctioneer between them and their buyer here. On the show today in the second half, I have Corey Johnston with Lane LLC Suppressors out of Rapid City, South Dakota. He'll be joining me later this hour. But first, we have Marshall Johnson with the Mule Deer Foundation on the first half. Morning, Marshall.
Good morning. Sounds like it's the Johnson show.
The Johnson, Corey Johnston. It's Johnston. And you're Johnson.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's one of those ones that got messed up when they came through Ellis Island.
Well, he's the one who he wanted to break away from the Johnson because there's so many Johnsons out there. He wanted to put a T in there and say, I'm my own person.
That's right.
Yeah. So you're fishing in Minnesota.
Well,
you finished fishing in Minnesota. How'd you do?
Not well. The walleyes pretty much like here in central North Dakota, the lakes and stuff like that kind of shut down from the walleyes here about a week and a half ago. And
there's 10,000 lakes to choose from,
We were only on one though.
Okay.
and my fishing got cut fairly short. Even though I fell off my boat and while unloading it and cracked or bruised a few ribs. But I still went out there and fished. By about 2 hours into it though, I couldn't cast. I was pretty much just dropping the line out the side of the boat and letting the current take it.
Troll, baby. Let's let it troll.
Yeah.
I haven't been fishing since the Dakota Walleye Classic up in the big water. And before that, I went down to Mobridge. Brent Kemnes, man. I tell you what, if you want to go fishing on Lake Oahe and you want to catch them, you got to use him as a guide. The guy is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah. And he cleans them, packs them up, freezes them, It's like all you do is sit and BS and drink beer. It's my kind of fishing. I tell you what.
That would be my kind as well.
Yeah. So you forgot to put in for your pronghorn antelope tag.
I did. First time I've forgotten to do that in years.
With that, man, I tell you.
I know. I didn't put a thing on my phone.
How about
to remind me?
You should listen. There's a radio program called Dakota Prairie Outdoors that lets you remind you about that stuff.
Well, I'm a typical North Dakota procrastinator. Oh yeah, I'll get to that. Oh yeah, don't forget, I'll get to that.
So how about deer tag? Did you get? Holy cow! The North Dakota Game and Fish redid their website. Holy moly!
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they got a whole new look to it.
It's gonna take me now 6 months to figure that out.
I enjoy their website. Both theirs and South Dakota is very easy to get through and go around here. But now we're their news story. Usually their news stories was the first one on, and now I can't find their news stories here.
Oh no. Yeah, I got drawn down there in Grant County. What is it, 3F2?
3F2, yep.
Yep, I got drawn down there. Got a any buck.
I was going to ask you because there's a lot of doe tags left over. Like 3,000 or something like that, I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was going to find it here. Yeah, I found the stories. Here, I got them. There they are. Now it just went from the left side to the right side. I'm left-handed. When I look at websites, I'm looking at the left side. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on. So I get a call from the North Dakota Petroleum Council. I had Ron Ness down here. He was shooting prairie dogs at the ranch during haying season. He was actually one of my first guests to sit in the new studio here in the porch. So
wow.
Yeah. And he brought his son out, and it was a bonding moment. He says he doesn't get a whole lot of time to actually sit down and have a conversation with his boys. And
I know that guy's always moving.
Well, and I think the kids are always moving too nowadays. I don't.
That is true.
So I mean, so anyway, it was kind of fun. He came down in studio, and he says that they're helping out with a pretty large fence removal project going on in the state, somewhere north of the interstate, I believe.
Yes, we are over north of Sentinel Butte. I would say probably 15, 20 miles in there on the Bill Lohman Ranch over there. And
the cowboy poet.
Yes, I tell you, I met him for the first time here earlier this week.
Really?
What a fella! Oh yeah,
I tell you,
and he's done pretty much everything. And we're riding around in his 4-wheeler Ranger thing, and I tell you what, with these ribs, he hit every freaking bump he could, and he'd laugh, and he goes, "Yeah, I was rodeo. I've broken a lot of bones. I know how you feel." He goes, "You want me to hit that one harder?" And I said, "No, I think you should back up over it and hit it again."
Did he grace you with any poetry? I mean, when I interviewed him, we did a Cowboy Christmas in Medora quite a few years back, and I interviewed him, and he did a couple hunting poems for me. So
no, he didn't grace us with any poems. I'm kind of expecting it coming up here next week, but we did hear a lot of jokes.
He knows a few of them.
A lot of jokes and stories.
So what's the deal? You're removing some fence, putting fence in. What's the thing on the Lohman Ranch? Oh, are you there, Marshall? Hello. I can hear him moving around here. Okay, we got a bad connection, Marshall. I'm going to give you a call back. How does that sound? Why don't we just hang up? I'll give you a call back here if you can hear me, and we'll try this once again. As you gotta like cell phones, sometimes they just don't work all the time, and we got to make sure that we get the proper number here. So live radio, you gotta love it sometimes here. We'll see if that one. No, that one didn't work either. Well, I tell you what, we'll be back more with Marshall Johnson. We'll get him set up on the next portion, as we're close to a break anyway here. So we got a few things coming up here with Corey Johnston in the second half here. We got some other news and things on. Take a look at the North Dakota Game and Fish new webpage here. They kind of put a new, fresh look to it. And South Dakota Game, Fish, and Parks is the other place to go. We'll talk about that in the second half of the program. But if you want to get in on any of the leftover tags for the deer season on the North Dakota side of the border, that they opened it up last week, and it's on a first come, first serve, as long as you don't or did not receive a lottery tag or a gratis application tag before. So good stuff to have there. Also, check out my daily program. I had the opportunity to meet up with a young lady in Dickinson. Her first time ever moved to North Dakota, got a muley buck tag, and she's pretty excited about that. So you can check that out on my webpage, dakotaprairieoutdoors.com. Look for the interview with Sam and her first deer. It's pretty cool here. She's pretty excited about that. We'll be back more coming up here on KFYR in Bismarck, KOLY, Mobridge, South Dakota, and also KGFX. We'll be back out of the Pierre side of things as well. More with Marshall Johnson. We'll get him reconnected, get him some better cell phone service so he's not moving around all the time. You got to stay in one place when you're in the Dakota Territory for cell phone. Unlikely, we have fiber optic here at the ranch. It's good stuff. We'll talk to you next here after these messages.
Hi, this is Andy Murdoch with Piper's Auctioneers, inviting you to the Western Dakota Equipment Auction in Bowman on September 20th. Consign your items with Piper's today and line your equipment up to these featured items: John Deere and Case tractors, combines, and air seeders, a 2014 Case 4430 Patriot sprayer, low-hour payloaders and skid steers, top-of-the-line farm and hay equipment, trucks, trailers, construction equipment, and more. Join Piper's Auction in Bowman, North Dakota. Advertising deadline is August 20th. Our inventory is updated daily at pipers.com.
We want amazing innovations to drive progress for generations. We want jobs and careers for generations. We want American energy production that protects our land and the wildlife for generations. Today, the advanced technologies deployed by the North Dakota oil and gas producers are making that happen. And with the promise of emerging technologies, the energy of North Dakota has a very bright future for generations to come. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council. To learn more, visit energyofnorthdakota.com. Mandan Sporting Goods 210 East Main again with Joe. Joe, it's getting closer and closer. Pheasant season around the corner, and you have what the bill fits.
Well, we pretty much got anything you want. All the varieties of shotguns, youth or full size. You know, the automatics, the pumps, over under, side by sides, single shots we can get in if you want them. Pretty much everything.
And when it comes to ammunition, what's hot right now for shooting those pheasant out there?
Everybody's got their own favorite load. Fiochi is pretty good. The Federals.
Somebody told me to ask you what hen pheasant tastes like.
I don't know. I haven't hit any yet this year.
The 2019 North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame Golf Scramble is September 5th at Bully Pulpit Golf Course in Medora. This annual fundraiser consistently fills up, so put your teams of 4 players together and get signed up. The tournament's an 18-hole scramble with registration beginning at 9:30 a.m. and a shotgun start at 11. The deadline to register and be paid in full is August 30th. Call Becky Sheep, 701-623-2000, or Rick Thompson, 701-290-6839, and sign up. The North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame 2019 Golf Scramble is September 5th.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust is happy to serve the communities we are in. Whether it's sponsoring a local team or rodeo, helping take tickets, or having a good neighbor club loyalty event, we are thankful for the great communities we live in. Without the community, we are just a bank. Please visit us at any of our 11 locations to learn more about us. We're in Bismarck, Bowman, Dickinson, Glen Ullin, Hebron, Taylor, Lincoln, Mandan, and New Leipzig. Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton. Hi, everybody. This is Scott Bachmeyer, and besides being the host of Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio and also a rancher in the Badlands, I'm also an auctioneer. So if you're looking to auction off property, maybe you have farm equipment, a production sale coming up, even a benefit or a fundraiser, I'm the guy that can help you out. Maybe you're listening and you have your own auction company and you find yourself short of help sometimes. I can step up as an auctioneer or even help as a ringman. Give me a call, send me a message, 701-425-6651. That's 701-425-6651. Once again, sitting with Andy Murdoch from Pfeiffer's Western Team. Andy, what's on the schedule next?
Thanks, Scott. Pfeiffer's has an outstanding lineup of equipment and land auctions coming up this fall. On August 22nd in Ismay, Montana, Pfeiffer's will offer farm and haying machinery, construction equipment, and guns. Pfeiffer's will once again be hosting 2 tremendous farm and construction equipment consignment auctions on September 5th in Ada, Minnesota, and September 20th in Bowman, North Dakota. Also coming up is a full John Deere collectible tractor and antique car auction in Dickinson and our Western Dakota land auction featuring over 4,000 1,000 acres in October. As always, you may contact Jim, John, or Andy at 701-523-7366 or log on to pifers.com.
Mandan Sporting Goods talking again with Joe. We're talking prairie dogs because summertime, nothing like shooting some sod puppies. Joe, what are some of the prairie dog rifles that you guys carry right now that are going off the shelves?
Well, 204 is still good. 17 is really popular. Of course, the standby is the old 223. A lot of guys going to 308s. Everybody's going to something different. Surprisingly, a lot of 243s, 22 250. Of course, it's nice, flat, and fast. ARs are pretty popular, so that's about it.
And if anybody's looking to go prairie dog hunting with Joe, he's got a pink cricket down here that he uses all the time.
Well, I use a bigger one than that, but
Old Joe, 10 seconds of silence. Welcome back to the Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday show. Good to have you along here again as we got Marshall Johnson back on the phone. Marshall, welcome back. Make sure.
Thank you. I was worried. I was concerned.
Don't move around. Don't move back and forth inside the house, outside the house. Knock that off.
I know. I got a lot out there, and it was really nice. Nobody interrupted me, and it was really good.
Yeah, he said he went off talking, didn't know we were on or off here. But anyway, we were talking about Bill Lohman's place here, the fence project here, and the test from the Petroleum Council gave me a little bit of background on it. But you tell me what's going on at Bill's place.
Yeah, so Mule Deer Foundation, we've been working throughout the western part of the state here, and predominantly we've been pulling a lot of the old woven fence, steep fence, which is kind of the scourge of the prairies for us, as it is a terrible barrier for wildlife, and because you can't get under it, little smaller animals can't get over it. They also, the mortality rate studies showed that it was a 2.5 times higher mortality rate on wildlife from that type of fencing. And so we've been working with landowners throughout the western part of the state, pulling out old dilapidated barbed wire, and then we've been doing this woven fence. And Ron Ness had contacted me and said, hey, we would really like to do an industry day where it's just, industry partners, our volunteers, we get out there and we want to give back. We want to do what you're doing out there too. And I happened to be in the car. I had him on speaker there with, I had Chad on the phone, Chad Meyer. He's with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. He's the coordinator for the Partners in Wildlife. We got off the phone and he's like, I know the perfect place. And that's Lohman's Ranch. And he goes, he's got about 3 to 4 miles of that fence he wants out of there. I think this would work great. His son's very active in the industry. They've got a couple wells out there. This would be perfect spot. And Lohman's place is north of Sentinel Butte there, north of the interstate. I want to say 15, 20 miles up there. God's country, just gorgeous. So what we will be doing is we drove out there here on Tuesday, mapped out the area, looked at what we're doing, contacted with Tessa Sandstrom over at Petroleum Council. They've got about 18 to 20 volunteers now from 3 to 4 different industry partners. They're bringing in their bobcats, and then Bobcat Doosan, they are donating the use of all the different attachments that we're going to need while we're out there. So what we're looking to do is we're going to pull this wire out of there, roll it up. He's got another, I'd say half mile of wire laying there that if we get time, we're going to roll that up for him as well. And we just recently purchased a baler. I call it a baler, one of those fence pullers, that can do a whole fence at one time, do that woven fence. We bought that out of Wishick over there at that walled fencing over. And the funds that we got to purchase that was from the industry. They donated those funds to us to help purchase this piece of equipment. So we're really excited to get out there and use it. And we've been renting, and now we're going to have our own, and we can take it anywhere.
Sure. And is there going to be new fence put in as well?
Yes. He's actually been already on his own installing wildlife-friendly fencing. And
what does that mean? What's wildlife-friendly?
Wildlife-friendly is one of the biggest things you know about wildlife-friendly is that lower wire is actually up higher, a lot of times 16 to 18 inches off the ground, and it's smooth. There's no barbs on it because there's a lot of critters and small deer and fawns that go underneath and antelope go underneath. The top wire is generally below that. You take a look at those fence posts with the red marks, green marks, whatever. It's generally below that colored marking, so it's just shorter than a normal barbed wire fence, and easier for adult deers and stuff to be able to jump over that. Also, between that first and second wire on top, the gap is a little bit more than normal. That way, if they do get their leg caught, they can easily get it out hopefully with no damage.
Right. wildlife friendly here, and he's been putting this in on his own, or have you guys been helping with the new
No,
fence as well?
he's been doing it on his own.
Okay, so
So
if other people want to have fence projects, I mean, is this something readily available from the Mule Deer Foundation and also the Petroleum Council or any of the energy industries, or is it something that
yeah, we
special
have
project
a couple.
type thing?
Right. We have this is a special project with the North Dakota Petroleum Council,
Right.
but I think it's something they're going to want to do at least annually, identifying someplace up there in the Bakken and stuff. And then with the Mule Deer Foundation, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. One criteria that we have is that the land that we're working on has to either be enrolled in the plots program, and or we'll even work out deals for an access easement, where maybe it's a section line or something that curves around to the private land to public land. And we would work with that landowner as well to maintain that access point too, where we'd probably come out, a couple times a year just to, check the fencing, look for litter, put some signage up there reminding people that, hey, what this access is for, respect it, that type of thing.
That's a lot
with the Mule Deer Foundation, it has to be through access.
See, that's a lot of people don't understand that. Just what you said there is if the section line curves around and goes into private and then back up to federal, that's still private land. You need permission to get through that. And very few people understand that because they see this map and this trail and they're like, well, we can go in there because it's on a map. But it's not like that. So how about federal land? I mean, if a person has a whole bunch of federal land and that fence is old and dilapidated and it's, have you ever seen some of that, what we call pig wire? Have you ever seen that stuff?
Yeah.
It's just nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Is there any programs that, since public land is already open to hunting, is there anything?
Well, I know
fences or not.
If you talk with Chad Meyer, for example, with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, he's been working with a lot of the private landowners that don't offer access, and he's got programs too. And he can also direct to other programs. The Mule Deer Foundation, again, it's got to be, tied into some access program. But anybody who has that interest, we've had several landowners that they've actually enrolled their land into the plots program because they look at, it's a win-win situation. They are getting something done that would cost them money. I mean, in some cases, a lot of money and a lot of time. And, when we can come in there and help them offset those costs, because we usually do a cost share with them. And then in some cases, we try to, as a Mule Deer Foundation, our volunteers, we've been doing 2 to 3 boots on the ground projects where we'll have people travel from Fargo, Jamestown, Minot, they'll come to, down to Grant County, and spend a full day down there and help us achieve what we're trying to do.
Sure.
And I tell you what, the landowners there are really grateful about what's being done.
Just a few minutes. I want to make sure we have time. That you said that you started a new chapter in Pierre, South Dakota. And since we're on KGFX here this morning, let's talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah. Got a opportunity to get a chapter going down there. I when I moved back to North Dakota here, one of the deals was I was going to take over South Dakota. We really didn't have anybody work in South Dakota. And so now I'm the regional director for the Dakota Territories. And so working with a gentleman down there. His name is Jeff. What the heck is his name? He's got that good old German name there, Gutenkopf. And working with him and a bunch of his friends, we started a chapter there called the Missouri Breaks Muleys. And we will be hosting our first event. We're going to do a Gunapalooza. We are looking at, I think it's going to be November 7th, which is a Thursday night, and we'll be over there at that Isaac Walton building, putting that on. And those Gunapaloozas, they're a lot of fun. They're a 2-hour event. We give away anywhere from, 10 to 15 guns in that 2 hours.
Sure.
With an addition of a silent auction and some other door prizes and stuff. So it's a pretty good time. We're in South Dakota right now. I'll be starting my 6th chapter here. At the end of the month here, I'll be down in Spearfish to start that 6th chapter. And so it's really starting to build, starting to go down there. I've been working with the Forest Service. We're developing a master plan for the Custer Forest, U.S. Forest, and then also the Nebraska grasslands. I've rolled that underneath it too. since some of those Nebraska grasslands come up through South Dakota. I'm also going to be reaching out to the grasslands up here in North Dakota to get a master plan as well.
Yeah.
And so been exciting. It's been a lot of fun. I've been doing this for 10 years, and it takes a while to get things rolling from the start up. I know. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
10 years.
So people want more
it takes a while to get things started.
They want information, phone number, web address. We got 20 seconds. What is it?
Absolutely. It's Marshall Johnson. You can go Marshall at muledeer.org. We have a website, muledeer.org. You can connect through there as well. Phone number 406-850-8785. Can't give up that Montana number.
Yeah, you might have to switch that. People are going to think you want to change your car warranty if they call you.
Yeah, well, I get those calls from 406.
All right, Marshall, thanks, man. Stay on the phone here. I'll be right back with you here shortly. We're going to come back more on the second half of the program, Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition.
Hi, this is Andy Murdoch with Piper's Auctioneers, inviting you to the Western Dakota Equipment Auction in Bowman on September 20th. Consign your items with Piper's today and line your equipment up to these featured items: John Deere and Case tractors, combines, and air seeders, a 2014 Case 4430 Patriot sprayer, low-hour payloaders and skid steers, top-of-the-line farm and hay equipment, trucks, trailers, construction equipment, and more. Join Piper's Auction in Bowman, North Dakota. Advertising deadline is August 20th. Our inventory is updated daily at pipers.com.
We want amazing innovations to drive progress for generations. We want jobs and careers for generations. We want American energy production that protects our land and the wildlife for generations. Today, the advanced technologies deployed by the North Dakota oil and gas producers are making that happen. And with the promise of emerging technologies, the energy of North Dakota has a very bright future for generations to come. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council. To learn more, visit energyofnorthdakota.com.
Mandan Sporting Goods 210 East Main again with Joe. Joe, it's getting closer and closer. Pheasant season around the corner, and you have what the bill fits.
Well, we pretty much got anything you want. All the varieties of shotguns, youth or full size. You know, the automatics, pumps, over under, side by sides, single shots we can get in if you want them. Pretty much everything.
And when it comes to ammunition, what's hot right now for shooting those pheasant out there?
Everybody's got their own favorite load. Fiochi is pretty good. The Federals.
Somebody told me to ask you what hen pheasant tastes like.
I don't know. I haven't hit any yet this year.
The 2019 North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame Golf Scramble is September 5th at Bully Pulpit Golf Course in Medora. This annual fundraiser consistently fills up, so put your teams of 4 players together and get signed up. The tournament's an 18-hole scramble with registration beginning at 9:30 a.m. and a shotgun start at 11. The deadline to register and be paid in full is August 30th. Call Becky Sheep, 701-623-2000, or Rick Thompson, 701-290-6839, and sign up. The North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame 2019 Golf Scramble is September 5th.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust is happy to serve the communities we are in. Whether it's sponsoring a local team or rodeo, helping take tickets, or having a good neighbor club loyalty event, we are thankful for the great communities we live in. Without the community, we are just a bank. Please visit us at any of our 11 locations to learn more about us. We're in Bismarck, Bowman, Dickinson, Glen Ullin, Hebron, Taylor, Lincoln, Mandan, and New Leipzig. Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton. Hi, everybody. This is Scott Bachmeyer, and besides being the host of Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio and also a rancher in the Badlands, I'm also an auctioneer. So if you're looking to auction off property, maybe you have farm equipment, a production sale coming up, even a benefit or a fundraiser, I'm the guy that can help you out. Maybe you're listening and you have your own auction company and you find yourself short of help sometimes. I can step up as an auctioneer or even help as a ringman. Give me a call, send me a message, 701-425-6651. That's 701-425-6651.
Once again, sitting with Andy Murdoch from Pfeiffer's Western Team. Andy, what's on the schedule next?
Thanks, Scott. Pfeiffer's has an outstanding lineup of equipment and land auctions coming up this fall. On August 22nd in Ismay, Montana, Pfeiffer's will offer farm and haying machinery, construction equipment, and guns. Pfeiffer's will once again be hosting 2 tremendous farm and construction equipment consignment auctions on September 5th in Ada, Minnesota, and September 20th in Bowman, North Dakota. Also coming up is a full John Deere collectible tractor and antique car auction in Dickinson, and our Western Dakota land auction featuring over 4,000 acres in October. As always, you may contact Jim, John, or Andy at 701-523-7366 or log on to Pfeiffer's.com.
Mandan Sporting Goods talking again with Joe. We're talking prairie dogs because summertime, nothing like shooting some sod puppies. Joe, what are some of the prairie dog rifles that you guys carry right now that are going off the shelves?
Well, 204 is still good. 17 is really popular. Of course, the standby is the old 223. A lot of guys going to 308s. Everybody's going to something different. Surprisingly, a lot of 243s, 22 250, of course, it's nice, flat, and fast. ARs are pretty popular, so that's about it.
And if anybody's looking to go prairie dog hunting with Joe, he's got a pink cricket down here that he uses all the time.
Well, I use a bigger one than that, but
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition continuing for the second half of the hour here today on KFYR in Bismarck, North Dakota. We got Mobridge, KOLY, home of the Teddy Bear Prison, and also KGFX, Pierre, South Dakota. Good to have those covering the Missouri River Valley. Also, thanks to everybody tuning in on YouTube Live. Good to have you on. You can check that out. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio is my channel. Subscribe to the channel, share it a little bit if you can. And if you miss one of these programs, you can always go back to my YouTube channel and watch and listen to that. On the second half of the program, I have Mr. Corey Johnston, Lane LLC, suppressors out of Rapid City, South Dakota. How you doing? Good morning, Corey.
Good morning.
What a beautiful day up here in the Badlands of the southwest corner. What's it look like in Rapid today?
It's actually quite nice. I'm in the hills, so I don't get any of the wind.
Perfect.
But just stepping outside, it looks great.
Yeah. Well,
I think I'm going to go shooting today when I get done.
All right. When you say you're going to go shooting, what when you reach into that gun safe? What's the one you're going to be grabbing first? What caliber?
Today I'm going to be. I've got a match coming up next weekend, so I'll be pulling out the 6.5 SAUM, the short action ultra mag, making sure my loads and everything are good. So
now September, you text me this September 14th. You have a match in Martin, South Dakota, and September 28th in Wall, South Dakota. Okay. What kind of matches are these? What kind of shooting matches are we talking about?
And next weekend is in Casper. Well,
next weekend in Casper. Okay.
Yep.
So you're gonna miss the Slope County Fair here in Amadon, really?
I know.
It has get this. It's probably not the nation's longest running, but it has the state's longest running bikini barrel race. We've been doing it for 4 years.
I think shooting guns is the only thing that'd make me miss that.
Okay, good enough. So the long range cartridge back in the day was the 308. Is that still the one that everybody goes after?
No. The 308 is still a great cartridge. It's still quite relevant. But it's more of an 800 yards in cartridge. When it comes down to it, we have other calibers with higher BC bullets that are starting out faster that give very little recoil. So
what's the round everybody's moving on to?
Well, in these matches, almost everybody runs 6s and 6.5s, 6 millimeters, 243, and 6.5, which is 260. Okay. And that's because most of the time we can start those off around 3,000 feet per second. We don't have much recoil, and the BC on these bullets that are available for those calibers are phenomenal. We're not knocking over an elephant. We're just bringing a piece of steel out a long ways away.
So let's talk about BC, ballistic coefficient. That is how the bullet pretty much bucks the wind, how it holds its form in the wind, right? I mean, is that basically the layman's way of saying it or not?
It's that, and it's also how fast the bullet is slowing down.
Okay.
It also slows down slower the higher the BC you have.
Right.
So basically, it's cutting through the air better,
Right. Cuts through
and
the
it's
air better.
affected by the wind less.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
So for example, at a match, if you run a 308, you could be fine. But if you're on a day when you have gusty wind, you might be shooting, depending on the second you pull that trigger, you might be shooting off the left side of the target, the next one off the right side of the target, left side, just depending on the gustiness of that wind.
mm-hmm.
Whereas with some of these higher BC bullets we're running, we might be hitting left side of the plate, right side of the plate.
Okay. So, but nobody's running a 300?
Not very many.
Really?
No.
Okay. See, that's everybody's telling me. I live in an area where you got to remember, a lot of people thought the 30-06 was the rifle to have back then. I mean, that's what they had. I mean, that's it.
And they're right too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the 30-06. Actually, now guys are running 6.5 .6s. They're just necking those down to that 6.5 bullet.
Sure. How about this?
And they're working really well.
What was that one a couple years ago? I think Winchester made a 6.5 280. No, it wasn't a 6.5 284, was it? Or am I thinking? I know you could buy the rifle, but there was no ammunition to be found.
Oh, sure.
Which didn't make any sense to me. You'd think that they'd go the other way around, make sure there's ammunition available if you're going to buy one of these things. But yeah.
Well, we don't worry about it too much. Generally, we load our own, So
now, is everybody in the matches running suppressed, or is there still some folks that?
Not everybody. There's some guys really, really like those brakes. They'll have some really obnoxious brakes on them, and really obnoxious. So their guns are staying pretty much steady.
Yeah.
But it's just pissing everyone else off.
It's so obnoxiously loud, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get those muzzles.
It hits you in the chest.
Yeah.
That impulse just hits you in the chest, and I can't shoot with the brake because I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
That impulse hitting me, and it makes me blink.
It makes me worry about pulling the trigger on half the time too. I shot a 338 Lapua. With those muzzle brakes, they have it 45-degree angled back toward you. And I mean, it was just, it was tough. So with Lane LLC suppressors, okay, is it suppressor or silencer? How do you refer to it as in your company?
It's either way.
Right.
My banner says Lane suppressor. Sometimes we answer the phone Lane silencers. So.
Okay. Either way, it doesn't matter on that one. So how's business been? Because, everybody told me Obama was a great salesman for the gun and gun accessory industry, and Trump isn't. So how has it been?
He's the best we've had. We've never had such a busy year. We had to move in a new facility.
Oh, congratulations!
With more machines just to keep up when Obama was in.
Yeah, good deal.
So it's actually okay now. When Trump first got in, sales really, really, really dropped because everybody thought he was going to enact that Hearing Protection Act.
Right, that'd have been awesome.
That would allow the suppressors to be sold over the counter.
Yep.
Everybody thought that was going to go through. Trump was going to push it through, and it didn't happen. It took a while for people to realize it's not going to happen. I better get my paperwork started. So it was about a year of that before people finally relented. Said, I better just come in and get it done.
Yeah. So
and this year it's actually been wild. For this time of the year, it's usually our slower time. People are thinking more about fishing and camping than hunting and shooting.
They should be thinking about pronghorn. They should be thinking about that right now.
Yeah. Well, and that's starting to, it's generally September through March.
Mm-hmm.
March, April is our busy time.
Sure.
But for our slow time of year, we've been really busy. So it's been good.
So how long does it take if I do the paperwork next week with you when I come down? How long is it going to take me?
It's really hard to say right now. Unfortunately, they're taking a year.
Really?
Right now, I'm getting back ones that were submitted a year ago.
Okay.
But you got to remember, we had the government shutdown in there that kicked everybody back.
Yep.
And then the ATF moved their facilities from Atlanta, Georgia to Portland, Oregon. I think that move shut a whole bunch down. Yeah.
They went to a very liberal side of the country on that one, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think it's just where we send them. I think all they do is, basically cash the checks and divide up the forms to.
Okay.
To I think it all ends up in Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Okay.
But
Well,
But anyway, so hopefully it starts speeding up. We're really hoping that'll happen. But I can't tell you a time frame. I don't want to tell you. Well, I think it's going to speed it up to about 6 months and then have it not.
well, okay. So, an average of a year, right? Which is kind of
Right now.
nice. So here's the thing, which is nice about this. Okay, Lane. So you think about this on a husband-wife type of thing. All right, you're going to drop, $200 tax stamp. I don't know. Say it's about $1,000, right? On average, wouldn't it be? So you're dropping dropping $1,000. And, your spouse might not like that when you tell her, but a year later, they'll forget about it by then, won't they? I mean, isn't that
I don't know.
Isn't that a right way to think about it or not?
I can tell you when we call the customer to tell them that their form came in approved, if the wife answers, we say, well, can you have them call us back because we have a question? Because we don't know what they told them,
I've never thought about that.
Yeah. Half the time, though, when we say we're, lane silencers, the wife's like, oh, did it come in? Did it come in? So
yeah.
It's usually a non-issue. But
okay, so here's the thing. I got 4 people, and one of them says, I have to get a suppressor on my wife's rifle. This is just terrible. Because he goes coyote hunting with her all the time, and one's suppressed, one isn't. And when you're not used to that, and you're sitting next to somebody that's unsuppressed, it'll take you by surprise. There's no doubt about that. So
I get rung way more now than I ever did before I started making suppressors.
Yeah,
because I'm just not used to wearing my hearing protection all the time. And you go to these matches, you go to the shooting range,
and you have to have them, I suppose, don't you?
Yeah,
they're required.
And you're just not as careful about keeping them on your head because you're not used to it. Because when I go with my buddies, I never have to even pull them out of the box.
Right. Right. So you have your own CNC machines. I mean, you make your own suppressor. You don't have it outsourced anywhere, do you?
No. Nope.
Okay.
We do it all in-house.
So when I come down, do I get a tour of the place too? Do I get to see what's going on? Awesome.
Sure.
All right.
Sure. If you go to our YouTube video, they have a how it's made, and it goes through all the steps of us making one. It's really a good video. I think it's about 12 minutes long.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Since I'm on YouTube right now, we're streaming live right now, by the way. So if you ever want to watch this or share it later on. So I'm looking at a map where silencers are legal, and California looks like, of course, New York, Rhode Island, Jersey, all those places not legal. And then you have some of them that are legal, but they're not legal for hunting. But for the most part, majority of the United States here is suppressor or silencer friendly, it seems like here. And that's taken a long time. I mean, I remember when these first started out, there was only like a handful of states that allowed them.
Well, Minnesota and Iowa were no-goes when we started.
Yeah.
And they both switched over. Wyoming had laws against hunting with them. Now they've relaxed those.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Well, it's good to see more of the countries being able to do this here. So,
well, once you shoot with them, I gotta tell everybody, it ruins you.
It does.
I mean, you're wrecked. Once you shoot suppressed, you're like, well, this is stupid to not. You shoot an unsuppressed gun, you're like, oh, that's no fun.
Yeah. Why did I wait so long?
And it turns into a big wimp.
It kind of does.
When
But
when I do my mill standard testing, say I have a 308, I have to, anytime we make any change, we have to do the mill standard testing again.
Sure.
And it requires 10 rounds unsuppressed as a baseline. And even with just a 308 doing some testing, about 6 rounds into that unsuppressed line, I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
And I never thought of a 308 as being a kicking gun. But with the suppressor, it cuts that recoil so much too. It turns them into kitty cats. And now that 308 just felt like it was beating me up.
Yeah. Some questions for you. Are you ready? Because I ran across this. I'm going to cover some of this next week's daily program. The 7 tips for beginners in silencers. So we went through, what they cost at $200 tax stamp and what size if you want to do caliber specific or if you want to do a 30 caliber.
And titanium versus stainless.
Yep, titanium versus stainless, of course. Go titanium. I'll tell people that right now. If you're thinking about anything, go titanium because my stainless one adds a lot of weight to the end of that barrel. It really does.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people ask me who's bought stainless, say, what can I do to change it? I've never had anybody with a titanium one say, man, I wish I'd went stainless.
Yeah, exactly. Now, any ownership restrictions, once you have your paperwork done and when you have it in the house, not everybody in the house can use this suppressor, can they?
Well, if you do it on a gun trust and have them on that trust, they can.
As long as they have listed on the trust.
If you do it individually, then no, it has to be in your possession. I mean, they can shoot it, but you have to be right there.
Okay. As long as you're within the area of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. They can't go and take it without you there.
Okay. Now, do you have
unless once again, you put them on a gun trust, then right. it gives them the right to be able to use it.
If they're not on the gun trust and they jump in your vehicle and it's in your vehicle, can they get in trouble?
They could.
They could.
Yes.
All right.
And that's why when we set up these trusts, we tell them, they'll say, well, my wife's never going to take it without me. I'm like, well, are you going to leave it in your vehicle and have her take it somewhere?
Right.
Well, yeah. So we end up putting her on the trust,
right.
just so they're covered.
Do you have to carry your silencer paperwork with you?
There's no law that says you do. I read the entire ATF handbook, and there's nothing in there that says you do. I think it's a good idea to at least have a picture of the stamp on your phone.
Sure.
Just so if there ever was a question, most law enforcement nowadays have them. A lot of my customers are law enforcement.
Yeah.
So they know enough about them to not worry about it. The odds of getting checked are really low. But as long as they see that it's a legitimate suppressor, not something that was homemade, and
right.
They're probably not going to question anything. But it is a good idea to have a copy that you can produce somehow.
Got a guy from Morristown just a message. He says, I love my Lane suppressor. Used it last weekend in a dog town with his boys and all the kids. Yeah. So there you go. Here's a question for you. Well, hope it doesn't happen. Say you put your husband and your wife, you're both on that trust. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you get divorced?
Well, whoever the grantor of the trust is has the ability to add and remove whoever they want.
Okay.
So they can remove the wife. The grantor will be the one. So if you're the one putting the money down, you should probably be the grantor of the trust.
Right. Question says, what is needed when a person changes residency to a different state?
There's a form with the ATF. I think it's like a 52. It's called 5230.30 form. You can download it from the ATF website. When you move states, it's just a form to let them know that you're now at this address.
Unless you move to California, then you got to get rid of it.
Yeah, you either got to get rid of it or you could. I mean, you could turn it into the ATF office, but yeah, it's not. That's who would want to do that.
Yeah. No doubt.
I actually have. I shouldn't say that. I have had a lot of military guys that that are at the Ellsworth, and they end up getting stationed in California or somewhere,
right.
So they have to modify their trust to add somebody and have them store it there until they get transferred back.
Question says, or more of a comment here. It says, as the Europeans say, it's more gentleman-like to use a suppressor. It's ironic how they're much more firearm restrictive over there, but suppressors are over the counter, and we're completely opposite.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it all started in 1934 with the National Firearms Act. But, it was and that was meant to give the gangsters were outgunning the police so bad with their full autos.
Yeah.
So the whole point was they knew they couldn't ban them, so they would tax them. So they made machine guns, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, all taxable with a $200 tax.
Mm-hmm.
And as an afterthought, they threw suppressors on there because they were a new thing. They didn't know what they could do. Maxim invented the suppressor not very long before that. So it was more of a lack of knowledge. They threw it on there than anything else.
Sure.
And it's just been that way since then.
So another question comes in. We're almost out of time here. I want to get these in. Will gun trusts transfer from one company to another, like your competitor to yourself? And I don't know exactly why you would do that, but I'm not sure. But that's the question that came in.
The only person that can modify the trust is the grantor.
Okay.
I don't think you can. I mean, you could add other people onto it, but I don't think you can.
actually remove or change it to a whole new truss.
Okay. Yeah. Once it's there, and be happy you have it, because some people are still waiting on there. So we got about 60 seconds here. Lane LLC, people want to come by. Is it a store where you can walk in, look and handle the suppressors and then make your paperwork right there too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Where can they find you?
The thing is you have to be a South Dakota resident to get them directly from us.
Yeah. Heck with that.
Otherwise, we have to transfer to a dealer in your state.
Sure.
We can still sell to you. The paperwork has to go through a dealer in your state first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we do. We have a fingerprint machine. We do the fingerprints, passport photo, all the paperwork for South Dakota residents. We need about 20 minutes, half hour, and all the paperwork will be in the mail.
Awesome. All we have to do across the border is find somebody that's willing to have them transferred up here. That's okay.
Yep.
Well, Lane LLC and lanellc.com, laneproducts.com. You can also use that one too.
Or it's lanesilencers.com or lane-products.com.
Okay. Appreciate it, Corey. Have yourself a great weekend. Thanks for making time with me.
Thank you.
You bet. Corey Johnston, Lane LLC. Have yourself a great weekend. Thanks for listening. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio on YouTube. All right, YouTube, have yourself a great day. Please try to share as much as you can. Try to get my subscriptions up. See ya.